this was a huge, a monumental victory for President Trump. The biggest legal win of this administration so far. A total embarrassment for crazy Judge Boasberg, who's been trying to force this president to bring foreign alien terrorists back onto American soil, trying to turn our planes around, trying to empty prisons in foreign countries and bring them back to our soil. This is a monumental, colossal victory for the rule of law, for the Constitution, for our founding generation, John Adams, who signed this law into effect in 1798, and for President Trump in fulfilling his mandate and campaign pledge. What does this mean for you and your family watching at home tonight? It means that the Department of Justice, FBI, DEA, ATF, the U.S. Marshal Service, Customs and Border Protection, Border Patrol, and Immigrations and Customs Enforcement now have maximum authority to find and remove illegal alien gang members from Venezuela that have been responsible for so much misery in this country, for the torture and murder of Jocelyn Nungary, for the brutal slaying of Laken Riley. Those monsters can now be hunted down and expelled from this country with speed, force, and efficiency. This is a great day for America.
Another day, another dub, because Donald Trump just scored a massive victory over the radical left Democrats because he is now able to use the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Okay, he's going way back there to make sure he can deport illegal migrants with the swiftness. Now, before I get into some reactions and some clips here, I want to go ahead and explain this for people who don't quite understand the immigration law, because there's a lot of and disinformation around, even though I've grown to hate that word. I want to make sure that you guys know. So please pay close attention so that you know this, okay? So what people are doing is they are exploiting our immigration law by coming into the United States at a legal port of entry, getting caught and noticed on purpose, then saying they're seeking asylum. Once you say that, you are therefore then entitled to a hearing to at least determine whether or not you have a legitimate asylum claim. That's what people are referring to, some of them who know what the hell they're talking about when they say due process. So technically, that would be correct. The people who are the gotaways, let's say you just enter the country at any random spot or location, you are therefore not entitled to any sort of due process because you didn't even enter at a legal port of entry at all. There is nothing legal at all about just walking into the country outside of a port of entry. You ain't got no asylum claim or nothing. You just walked into the country illegally. Those people have no entitlement. So the vast majority of people did try to enter at a port of entry. That's the reason the United States knows about these people's existence, how they can find them so quickly, etc. That means that they are entitled to at least a hearing of whether or not their asylum claim is legitimate. That's not the same thing as going to like a criminal court and prosecution and all of that stuff, okay? That said, if they are an illegal alien who is a criminal, they committed crimes here in the United States especially, oh, no. Alien Enemies Act can get them the hell up out of there. No hearing, no nothing. That's the whole reason why Donald Trump wants to use that law. There's also some other laws too about people being considered terrorists and things like that, that Donald Trump can and is using to deport people without hearings or without any form of due process whatsoever. But the Supreme Court decision today effectively allows him to use the Alien Enemies Act, but there must be what's known as a meaningful advanced notice in order to deport these people. It was not defined what that means. So best believe that the Democrats, the radical left, authoritarian Democrats, are going to be back in court again because they're going to say whatever the Trump administration did was not enough, and it's going to go back up to the Supreme Court. Again, that's just my opinion on it. But the leftists are totally melting down because this one fellow who was so-called accidentally the MS-13 gang member who the Democrats are going to bat for they're fighting harder to keep this person or bring this person back than I've ever seen them fight for anything ever in human history. But they're melting down because today the Supreme Court also decided that this person did not need to be brought back into the United States.
I don't know what it's going to take for the American people, for 78 million Americans, to deal with what motivated them to make the choice to elect this man again, to make the choice that will allow these people to undermine every fundamental assumption we have, that you can just be disappeared, and then they can argue that, a court is getting in the way of their ability to exercise, foreign policy in some ways, right? I don't know what it's going to take for 78 million Americans to deal with what motivated them to make this choice. And the choice that they've made, we have to just be honest, is to literally throw the Republic into the trash bin. And this is just one example. The tariffs is another, right? They made the choice. Now, what was behind it? We have to grapple with it, because it's the snake, it's the beast coiled up in the heart, the bosom of the country, as Frederick Douglass said. And the fact that they are doubling down on this shows you what kind of human beings they actually are.
Say more.
We chose a felon who is more interested in loyalty, who's more interested in retribution, who's more interested in grift than in democracy. And we chose a felon because we didn't want to elect a black woman. So to read that, to actually explicate that, is to say we would rather destroy the Republic than for that to have happened. And until we grapple with it, there's no amount of protesting I could do. There's no amount of resistance that could come into play to actually force 78 million people to grapple with what motivated them to put themselves in this position.
This has got to be the biggest beta male. I thought Van Jones was a crybaby, but this guy is a complete clown. MSDNC is such a joke. Everybody on there just cries and moans and just makes stuff up all day. It is pure propaganda. There's no actual news as it relates to these people. These people's commentary, to say is biased, is a massive understatement. That does not, that's a disservice to the people who are like slightly biased, because these people are just deranged lunatics. I can't believe that we're in a place in this country where we're fighting so hard. Not when I say we, definitely not me, probably not most of y'all, but so many people are fighting with everything they have to keep literal MS-13 gang members in the United States. These people are dangerous, ruthless killers and human traffickers out here committing acts of terror and selling human beings, little boys and girls, into human slavery. And yet the radical left Democrats are like, hey, this guy, he didn't get hit through protest. Man, shut your little bitch ass up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying not to be cussing on this channel. I'm a Christian. I know a lot of Christians watch this channel, but man, these people get under my skin with their stupidity and their foolishness. Of course, Stephen Miller, as you saw earlier, is doing a bit of a victory lap here. Pam Bondi, and of course, old girl, one of my personal favorites, Caroline Leavitt. So let's go ahead and react to what she had to say about this.
Now we have a Fox News alert. The Supreme Court just cleared the way for Trump to deport illegals even faster. The High Court ruled that Trump can use the Alien Enemies Act to send Venezuelan gangbangers to a mega prison in El Salvador. This is a huge ruling in Trump's favor and a major win for the country after, as you know, D.C. Judge James Boasberg ordered a stop to the deportations. So this is pretty significant. These deportations, Caroline, can keep going.
This is a massive legal victory, Jesse, a massive victory for law and order and for our constitutional republic and the sovereignty of the United States of America. We called on the Supreme Court to rein in these activist judges like Judge Boasberg, who was completely out of line in trying to say that the president didn't have the executive authority to deport foreign terrorists off of our soil. We have always maintained the position at the White House that the president was well within his constitutional authority to do do so. And this decision proves that President Trump and our administration have always been right from the beginning. He will continue to utilize the Alien Enemies Act to remove foreign terrorists and Tren de Aragua members, vicious gang members from American communities. And because of this ruling, the United States of America is a much safer place. Our team will get to work tomorrow to deport these heinous, violent foreign terrorists from our neighborhood.
Hell, tomorrow? Hell, that's too long. We need to be working on this tonight. These people, I mean, sometimes all it takes is one day. I mean, that's literally how crimes are committed. They're committed at a point in time. And all it took was one day for Lake and Riley, Jocelyn Nungary, and others to get their lives taken, to get brutally raped and their lives taken by vicious MS-13 and Tren de Aragua gang members. This is crazy that we're even having this. I shouldn't need to make videos about this, guys. One of the reasons this channel started is because the Democrats were so insane. It was so perturbing. It was so disturbing the way that they perverted and pimped out our country, and literally they sticking everybody from every nation, sticking that thing into America. Everybody gets a turn. I don't like our country being pimped out, guys. I hate it, and I demand that it stop, and Donald Trump's gonna make it stop.
And you had another couple critical wins in the court with regard to Doge. Tell us about those. That seems to be making progress.
Yes, absolutely. There have been many wins that the mainstream media has failed to cover, particularly over the weekend. The Supreme Court also ruled that the president does, in fact, have the authority over federal funding, that he can dictate what funds can go out the door and what can't, so long as they are part of the executive branch. So we have always, again, maintained that every executive order the president has signed, every executive action that he has taken has been well within his executive authority. And Doge is doing a tremendous job at cutting back at the waste and the fraud and the abuse that have been ripping off American taxpayers, that have not been aligned with our interests here in our country. So we're going to continue the president's agenda. Again, he's well within his constitutional authority, and it's great to see the Supreme Court reining in these activist judges who are wearing robes but are acting as judicial activists, not as real judges and real arbiters of the law.
All right. Lawyer's wrong. I can't believe a lawyer would ever be wrong. It just amazes me. They think they're always right. I guess not this time. Sorry, Boasberg. We love you, but we're sorry.
Not sorry, actually. But yeah, guys, I mean, these people are pretentious a-holes and they're Democrat operatives. Joe Biden basically tried to Trump-proof the government, if you guys remember that. And he appointed a bunch of judges right before he left office. I mean, everything that these people are trying to do is everything anti-Trump. It has nothing to do with what's best for the country. I mean, these people are crazy, guys. And I'm glad that we have a conservative-leaning Supreme Court. Hopefully, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully we get some more conservative justice up in there, because Amy Coney Barrett, okay, I'll have the lady's face on the screen for anybody who doesn't know this lady, but she has lately kind of been erring on the side of liberals, and I don't think everybody is like that. I have seen some split decisions before, but I don't know, lately she's been kind of getting on my nerves, because you know we need to get these damn people the hell up out of the country. So I don't know why she is up here playing games. These are literal MS-13 gang members and Tren de Aragua gang members and other gang members or non-gang members who have committed crimes. These are not good people, and usually violent crimes, not like they stole a loaf of bread, they was hungry. No, these people literally out here like, I'm gonna get me some cheeks one way or another. I'm gonna give me some American cheeks, and I don't care what I'm gonna have to do to get it. And if they fight me, I'm gonna kill them, or I'm gonna kill them anyway because I'm a killer. These are not good people. This is not something that these people deserve. I'm not saying you can just point a finger at somebody and then all of a sudden you just send them to another country. But obviously, with one exception of a person who literally is an MS-13 gang member, it's only, you have one instance out of literally thousands of people, one instance of somebody being allegedly deported when they were not supposed to be, and this person was MS-13. I don't give a damn. I could see it if it was like some totally innocent person that was a United States citizen. But this is not the case. So what the hell are we even talking about here, guys? I'm tired of the courts. I'm tired of the Democrats. I'm tired of this lawfare against our president. And to me, it's lawfare against me and you guys. And it's lawfare against everybody that voted for Trump, or even the people who thought about voting for Trump and didn't. It's lawfare against all of America when you're standing in the way of what's best for the American people. And what's best for America is to get criminals the hell up out of the country, or put them in jail, or do something to them where they're out of our hair. To fight to keep them here in the name of process is similar. Basically, you're trying to be Gavin Newsom, the guy who has destroyed California. Karen Bass has only approved 6 housing permits. So all the people got them houses burned down. They so busy going through all this rigmarole, all these processes, all of this nonsense.
The Department of Building and Safety told the committee so far it has approved just 4 permits. Councilmember Tracy Park, who represents the Palisades, says that's not acceptable.
You know, when I hear in a committee meeting like we had today that only 4 permits have been issued and we're on day 75 post-fire, that is concerning to me.
Okay, let's do the permits, right? This is Karen Bass, mayor of LA, a few days ago. I'm reading from her post, we now call it, right? I signed a new emergency executive order to streamline permits as Palisades residents rebuild. I signed it to streamline. If you actually watch the clip in her own post,
oh my God,
right, that she's saying, I signed it to, this is what she actually says. I've asked city departments to start developing paths forward to streamline permits. Paths, right? So it's total BS, right? And this is what you get from these people, because California, with this one-party rule, is just churning out these machine politicians like Newsom, like Karen Bass, like Kamala Harris, whose only skill is navigating the political machine. They have no clue how to actually make anything happen. And these word salads, this smooth talking, as you said, it's all total BS.
To where they can't even rebuild their goddamn house. This is how liberals want it. They want it to be so much processing just for the sake of it that nothing ever gets done, including locking up criminals and deporting illegal aliens, which is something that the President of the United States has the authority to do, which the Supreme Court just made a determination. And trust and believe, there's many laws that allow this to happen. This is just one avenue of many. So the liberals going to keep trying it. They're going to keep failing. And I am here for it. But these are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.